and welcome to another edition of Science Talks by UNU-EHS. My name is Austin. I'm sitting here with Geneva List. She's a researcher from Columbia University, and we're here to talk about emerging fields of AI, artificial intelligence. So I guess my first question would be for you, what are some of the emerging areas for artificial intelligence?
Great. Thank you so much for taking this time. So narrowing in on climate and nature space, there's three really exciting areas where AI is being applied. So one of the first areas is in agriculture. AI is being utilized for precision agriculture through a variety of sensors, such as computer vision through cameras and drones and satellite imagery, as well as sensors in soils and through weather forecasting to provide real-time and actionable insights to farming and production systems and farmers to help them adjust when they will plant, when they need to apply fertilizers or adjust irrigation schedules, and also rapid and even automatic detection of weeds and different pests and diseases that can immediately provide like pesticide application. So this can help to ultimately increase yields and reduce risks. There are several applications throughout the food system. Another really interesting area of AI application is for species conservation. So utilizing computer vision and bioacoustics, so essentially camera traps, different sensors in the wildlife, and microphones, as well as satellite imagery and even citizen science. So citizens actually detailing this information, they can help to track and understand the species distribution. This can be used to monitor illegal trafficking or poaching, and also to assess changes in animal behavior or possibly zoonotic diseases. I think this is a very exciting application in the AI space. And a third application is using it for urban systems. So with sensors in buildings, AI can be used to optimize building energy use for decarbonization. So particularly monitoring HVAC, so heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems. It can be used and leveraged in urban design and understanding flows of energy to help increase design and, for example, tree cover to reduce heat stress. And we also see it being used for traffic optimization. So ultimately improving the sustainability of cities.
That sounds really cool. I'm fascinated by these opportunities. I think they're super exciting, as you say. It seems like they have a lot to do with sort of speed, efficiency, and even protection in the case of wildlife in nature. But I imagine there are some challenges as well to getting these implemented in the places that we need them. So what might be some challenges?
Well, some of the challenges are data, both not having enough in some certain circumstances, and ultimately also sometimes having too much and not knowing how to manage it or what to do with it. This is why we really advocate the need for open data, open codes, and open models that are centralized in a location to help facilitate algorithm development. We also have challenges. Well, we need to foster more interdisciplinary collaboration. It's really critical that we can bring together specialists and scientists working in natural systems and in climate, and also social scientists who are actually working with the socioeconomic systems in place with AI, data scientists, computer scientists, so we can create applications that actually solve real world meaningful challenges. And we obviously have to address governance, security and safety, trust. And another is really workforce development. There are just not enough folks working on AI, especially at this climate space. There's a lot of demand right now for people who can do AI programming, and it's really essential that we can help to bring them into the climate and nature space so that AI can be used for good.
Yeah, no, exactly. You wanted to use it for good, and the demand for it is obviously quite heavy, as you say. So the more people we can get into that space and tied to the areas that we're working on, as you say, in different areas of science and social sciences, the more we can bring them together, we can really harness it for good, as you say. So that kind of leads me to my last question for you, and is actually, so how can we get sort of artificial intelligence basically to the local level? How can we get it to where our lives are moving on the daily?
Yeah. Well, I think when we think about the local level, it's whose local level, and we see a lot of AI applications that are kind of concentrated in the Western global North, and also a lot of headquarters of organizations that are from these regions. And so, if we are wanting to impact sustainable development or climate action at a global scale, where we know many folks are experiencing the outcome of climate crisis, we need to work with them. And we, from day one, from the first day you start on trying to develop an AI application, you ought to be having folks who are going to be utilizing this or affected in the room. So you ask them, you work with them, and I think also it's really critical that we don't develop these systems, these technologies or applications in a bubble. We really need to understand how they're going to be integrated into the systems. What are the operating procedures in organizations? What is the level of capacity and understanding or access and connectivity for the average folk in certain different countries? So making sure that it is actually intentionally tailored with the ultimate end user. I think this is really critical, and just not to assume that the systems that we're trying to affect look like the systems in some of the countries where these are being developed. A house in one part of the world does not look like a home in another part of the world.
Yes. No, that's certainly true. It's context specific, as you hear a lot. But these conversations on AI can often revolve around data, computing, things like this. But inevitably, it has to come back to the people. And as you say, you have to work with people. You have to work with people where it's going to be used, tailored to the local context. I think that is a very, very critical message. So.
And may I end with one last point? I think what's really critical, and I'm grateful that we have been able to amplify this, but AI is not going to be the solution for everything. It's the means to the end, as was said yesterday. And I think really importantly, in any system that I've just mentioned, urban development, agriculture, conservation, we really need to look at the overarching policies and regulations that perpetuate these crises that we experience. AI is not going to be able to step into a regulatory role. So it's a tool, but it is not a panacea.
Okay, well, we'll end it there. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks.